And your name is what? Troy?
Christensen, yeah.
Okay, I just called him Mike Lee.
Yeah, and he forwarded the message to me to take care of it. He's my boss.
Okay, because I never in my life have seen these unmarked vehicles before, and until last year, and neither has anybody else. Even though you say you've seen them, they're never, never in my life, and I've lived here most of my life. So,
okay, can you send me an email and I'll send you the state statute?
Well, you already said this. You already gave me the state statute. I don't care so much about the statute. I just, I don't understand how they started showing up to begin with. Okay, so you say that BCA, which stands for what? Bureau of Criminal
Apprehension,
is involved in the investigation of the shooting that killed 4 people here, involving your unmarked cops, your unmarked vehicles.
Yeah, that wasn't our unmarked vehicle.
Oh, well, whose was it?
It was the shooters.
But where did he get the vehicle?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's what we kind of need to know that information, don't you think, Troy? Don't you think the state deserves that information? Because we're seeing these unmarked cops around here, and we want to know where the shooter got that vehicle. Isn't that a valid question to ask? Because I've had these guys follow me around. Okay, and how am I supposed to know, since this guy we know now wasn't even a real cop, and he shot 4 people now, and they're dead now? Don't you think we have a right to know where he got the vehicle, one? Second of all, don't you think we have a right to know if these are even real police officers? How do we find out? What if all the unmarked cops are not real police officers? How do we find this information out?
Like I said before, like at night when you get pulled over, you can't see the side of the vehicle at all. You just see the lights.
Well, it's kind of freaking everybody out, don't you think? Don't you think it's kind of freaking everybody out? Because now we don't know if these are real cops. How do we find out if they're real cops? Well, I'm talking to the whole state, all the politicians, that were friends of these people that got shot to death. What do you think? Who do you think I'm talking about? We're talking about the whole state is seeing these unmarked cops, Troy.
You're the only one that's brought this issue up.
I don't care if I'm the only one. I don't care if I'm the only one. I've had them stalking me, and I'm asking you questions, and I expect answers.
Who's stalking you?
I've had these unmarked vehicles stalking me.
Call 911. Report it.
How do I know if they are real cops or if they are fake cops, Troy?
Call 911. If you get stopped, call 911, and they'll verify it for you.
How do we know if any of them in the state are real cops that are driving the unmarked vehicles?
Yeah.
Because the guy that shot 4 people was not.
Correct.
Yes. Can I get a number to the BCA people that are investigating this?
Just look it up. Just Google BCA. I don't have
Bureau of Criminal Investigation?
Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Okay. Oh yeah, that one office in St. Paul that has no markings on it, and nobody even knows what they do over there. I've already been over there. I know that's like a shady place. Nobody even knows what that place does.
Well, then you have to go there, and they'll answer your questions because they're the lead on the investigation.
Oh, the one with like you can't even go in there, and nobody even has a clue what this office does, and I don't even know when it even started existing in the state of Minnesota. When did Bureau of Criminal Investigation start even becoming an office?
Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life, and I've lived here.
Google it.
When did that start?
Google it. Start researching it.
That just like popped up out of nowhere, and we're supposed to know what it is. I went over there, personally, and videotaped it, and I said, "What exactly do you do?" And you know what they told me? They said, "We just fingerprint and we do background checks." They didn't say anything about investigations. I got it all on video, Troy. They do fingerprints and background checks. I went over there already. I don't have to go over there again. And I said, "What exactly do you do here?" Because nobody really knows what this office does. "Oh, we just do fingerprints and background checks." So when are they doing investigations now, Troy?
Oh, they always have.
Really? Who are these officers? Who do they work for?
The BCA.
Well, who is the BCA?
Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
And so how are we supposed to know this is like even a real agency? I've never heard of this agency.
Okay, we're not getting anywhere here, so...
Yeah, we aren't. And so basically nobody's investigating this crime and this murder. And you
Yes,
have a
it's being
fake
investigated.
office that says they only do fingerprinting and background checks that is supposedly doing a major investigation. And you expect me to believe this shit?
Okay. I need
Really?
to research this. Yeah.
Yeah, you research it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Spend a little time
Oh, you
educate
want me to
yourself, okay?
research it and me to
Yeah.
do your job. Is that it?
I'm doing my job, but you need to educate yourself.
Nobody knows who the Bureau of Criminal Investigation is.
I just told you.
It just came up out of nowhere in the state and started appearing in some office, and they don't even say that they do investigations. So who's lying here?
Should
Them
I
or
open the
you?
second window?
Who's lying, them or you? Because I went over there and asked them what they did.
Yep, just research it, okay? Google Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and see what their job duties are.
Oh, what is their job duty? Okay, Bureau
Investigations.
Investigations. Oh well, let's just call them and see what the hell they're doing.
Yep, give them a call.
Yeah, give them a call, and then they'll just give me the runaround, and then they'll say, oh, don't call the FBI, no, call the local police, and it's just the runaround game. I know how you all work.
Hey, contact your legislator and complain about us. Son.
Oh yeah, which legislator? Then they give us the runaround.
Your local one should listen to you.
Oh really? Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for nothing.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, this is ridiculous. So I had I'm just doing this video today because I'm trying to get to the bottom of where these how these unmarked cops even started showing up. Okay, we have unmarked, a bunch of unmarked with no markings at all that started showing up about a year ago. Never in my life have I ever seen them around until about a year ago. This guy left me a message calling me back and saying it's a state statute.
Hi, Debbie. It's Troy, State Patrol. I'm just giving you a call back.
Uh-huh.
And as far as our unmarked squad cars in the state of Minnesota as troopers, it's a state statute. We do not have more than 10% of our fleet are unmarked cars. So
They have about 10% fleet that are unmarked.
So we have a pretty minimal number of unmarked cars compared to marked cars.
So it's a state statute, and who's our state governor? Tim Walz. Okay, and it was and this shooter had an unmarked vehicle that killed 4 people. Okay, and they and we still haven't gotten any information as to how this shooter got a hold of the unmarked vehicle. Isn't that kind of valid information? Because now we're seeing all these unmarked vehicles, and how do we know? And that shooter turned out to be not a real cop. So how do we know if any of them are real cops? Okay. And then he says that the agency that's handling this entire investigation, which is a very serious investigation of the shootings of 4 politicians, is this agency that nobody's even heard of until like recently. I've never heard of this agency, the Bureau of Criminal Investigations. I went over there and I did a whole video on it last year. Because it looks just like a fusion center. It looks like a call center. And nobody has any idea what this agency does. And when I went over there, and I just went in there, and I simply just asked, what is it that you do exactly? And there was all these big glass windows, like bulletproof looking things or whatever. And it didn't look like it was for the public or anything. And but yet when I asked, they said we do fingerprinting and background checks. They said nothing about we do investigations. You can look at the video. You can look at the video I did just last year about this agency. So basically we have an agency that's just made up, completely made up agency where they say they do investigations now. No, when I went over there and asked what they did, they said they do fingerprinting and background checks. They said nothing about investigations. Okay, so we're getting the runaround. So how are we supposed to know who these unmarked cops are? And then why did they start showing up? Because there's no decal, anything, so you don't know what city they work for, what jurisdiction they work for, what agency they work for of any kind. They work for the state. I found out that much. And of course that involves the state governor, Tim Walz. So that's how far I got so far. But the reason why I'm inquiring is because I've had them stalking me and following me, and this was before the shooting, and just one today, and so the so I was trying to inquire today as to, because I saw one just right around here just today, and because I was concerned, because I wanted to make sure that there was no warrant, because I had called the court in Hennepin County, and I had tried to request a continuance, and they stated that, they denied my continuance for no reason, but that they're gonna, just go ahead and have a court date without me anyways, which is illegal. But then I made sure and asked, well, are you sure there's not going to be a warrant? So I called the court right after at 2:30, and they said nothing has been updated in the court system, and she doesn't see any warrant. I called several different counties to make sure there was no warrant. And there's something my friend was telling me that's had issues with these same kind of issues, because anybody that's like a targeted person like myself of any kind, and it doesn't take much to get on this list, okay, but she was saying that they can put something called a green warrant on you without you knowing, and it would be like a mental health warrant, where they can come over and they can, somehow, if you have a family that authorizes it or something like that, they can have a mental evaluation authorized without your awareness, and it's called a green warrant. And they can do something like that without you even knowing. So then I had them transfer me to the mental health, because I had this situation with this nurse. I didn't know why a nurse was here, and that freaked me out. I've done videos about all these fake nurses. There's fake nurses that work at the CSL office. We all know they're fake nurses. They just show up out of nowhere, and they drive those Dodge Chargers. And then there's like this whole scandal that's uncovering where all these nurses are getting caught with fake diplomas. It's not an invalid concern. It's not an invalid concern, because there is a serious, and then there's this investigation going on right now into the VA, where they know people have been getting incentives to basically abuse veterans, and probably part of doing all kinds of illegal things that we don't know. I think it's a very valid concern, but all you do is get the runaround here. There's absolutely, this agency transfers you to this agency transfers you back to that agency, that kind of thing. And like I said, and they seem to be able to do like a welfare check on us whenever they want to. But then when I called, when I was, and I still have never heard back from Alice Darque, Darque. I had her exact address that I called the Kingwood Police in Kingwood, Texas, near Houston. And this was last month. And I hadn't heard from her in months, right? So I finally decided to do a welfare check on her. I gave them the address and everything. And they said, they referred me back to the local police here. They refused to do a welfare check on me, for me, on Alice Darque, even though I had her exact address. But they think that they can do welfare checks on us illegally whenever they want to. See, it's called Just Us system in United States. Just us. They just work for themselves. They don't work for us. And that's clearly what was becoming obvious. So they downright refused to do a welfare check for me on Alice. So I believe that Alice is no longer with us, and she was my friend, and I'm very upset about it. And the other reason why I'm so upset is because she did so many videos saying she was in danger, and then she sent me all kinds of videos of the cops doing the same thing they do with me in her area, where she'd be out walking, and they do these stage shows, like stage an accident, and they're right there staging, when she's going for walks, instead of helping her with all of her legitimate harassment she was going through. They're sitting there staging an accident, involved in the harassment. Okay, I have multiple videos she sent me, and then she did a video about how she knows she had something, like a chip or something, and she kept having this FBI plane fly right over her house. Like, she goes, I know I have a chip, like a tracker, because she was saying that she knows she is the Alice of CERN. She knew they somehow had her connected in the CERN. Okay, and she had valid you can't find her videos right now because they took it down, and I believe Alice is no longer with us, and they won't do a welfare check, but yet they think they can do any kind of welfare check illegally whenever they want to. And so that's the point I'm trying to make, is that it's a one-way system, but they won't do a welfare check for us. Okay, so anyway, so they won't. So they said I called the court today because there was this unmarked cop right near here, and I did not show up for my court date, but I had called. I called Monday, and then I called again, and I did finally get a hold of them. They said, I said, what happens here? Is there going to be a warrant? And they said no, but they are going to proceed with the court date. It's totally illegal to do that. It's totally, you can't proceed with the court date with no representation. But this state doesn't follow any of the rules. That's why I don't even know why we have courts here. The courts are so corrupt, and there's been so many deaths by the police here that I just think the whole system needs to be shut down. I just don't know. There's nothing I don't think that can be done. It's so corrupt that it's 230 people since 2000 that have been murdered by the police here, and it's like, and I know how they're doing it, just like what they're doing to me. You can't get a hold of the courts; they don't pick up half the time. So then, if you can't go to your court date, there'll be an unlawful warrant, and that's what happened to Ricky Cobb and Dante Wright. And so, what are you supposed to do if you can't? And you're afraid to death to show up for court. But even though when you do try, they make it impossible to try to, actually show up and do the right thing, because they don't. If you can't make it, you can't make it. Sometimes you just simply can't make it, and that's. But in my case, not only could I not make it, I'm afraid to go there because the guy that pulled me over was at one of these completely unmarked vehicles, and I have no idea who these people are or who they work for. And I'm not going to show up in a courtroom with an unmarked cop that I have no idea who he works for. Okay, this is what we have to get to the bottom of, who these unmarked people are, and where this shooter got the vehicle. Well, it sounds to me like he got the vehicle right from the state police. So that's pretty serious when you got when you're giving somebody a vehicle, an unmarked vehicle, and you're the state police. And governor, and then this person turns out to not even really be a cop, and then they shoot 4 people. Don't you think that's kind of a serious offense that you're looking at? Yeah, they are state vehicles. Okay, and my friend Tommy said this. He's had the same thing with these. He had the same thing happen. The reason why I was concerned about this nurse and different things like that is because he's had the same type of thing. So he's another targeted person or whistleblower type person, and he said, because I was telling him I believe they were trying to do some kind of mental welfare check or something illegal to me the other day, right? And he said that he's had the same type of thing. They use a false narrative using a procession of mental health awareness checks that are being internally generated by, and then they're trying to, make like some kind of a risk assessment, risk potential, leading to individual being nominated for the FBI Fusion Center's CIA Department of Homeland Security joint venture that involves the local state police and federal police, first responders, state mental health, EMSs, everything, and Citizen Corps, and including the secret societies, and neighborhood watch groups, all these different things. and saying that we're some kind of, and the whole point of it is to try to make people believe that you're some kind of a risk, some kind of a risk. Um, okay, so, and he's had this happen too, and he's, all he has, he's like a channel like I do, and he was just he's blown some whistles on different things, when he was a football player, about all the concussions. It started with that, but then I think it's also his bloodline and stuff too. But so, this isn't just me. This is happening to other people, and it's it's an agenda. It's an agenda, and it's illegal. Okay, so anyway, I think this is really important that people. This guy said, I'm the first one that's been inquiring about this unmarked car and where it came from. The one that killed 4 people here. I would, if I was like all the state representatives and, mayors or whatever, they should be inquiring too, because, you could be next. You could be next. You could be pulled over by one of these unmarked cops, and you could be the next victim. We have to get to the bottom of where this guy got the state vehicle, and who authorized him to have access to a state vehicle. Well, we know who the state governor is, and, we know now that the vehicles come from the state police, so I think there's, some people that need to get in trouble here.